stand back. I'm about to say something extremely controversial. I hate the Woobles yarn. There, I said it. Yes, I do not like it. So today I'm going to review the Lizzie the Corgi kit. I have finished her and what I thought of the yarn and the overall kit experience. Meet Lizzie the Corgi, the Woobles Corgi. There she is, all finished. I did two things I didn't finish on her. I didn't do the white on the ears, and there's a good reason why I didn't do that. And the second thing is I did not finish any of her accessories. I bought the crown, the crown, the cloak, and the tea set, but I have not finished them. This was all I got done in the week was getting Lizzie done. Now, it wasn't because it was difficult. I am going to go through my thoughts on the kit as a whole, and then I'm going to talk about the yarn itself. What I decided to do is in this review is I'm going to judge this kit based on, let me move her over here. We're going to base the kit on some of the other types of kits that I've done. I've done a lot of the cheaper kits. I've done a Dollar Tree kit. I recently opened an old one that I had for a Harry Potter themed, and then this little guy here came out of a kit. So that's what I'm basing these on. And overall, I think the kit itself was very good. I would give it very high marks. It included everything that you needed, including stitch markers. And for me, that seems to be the piece that every kit that I've ever done misses. They always miss that stitch marker. Stitch markers are one of the biggest things for me when I see that the kits don't include them, because a lot of times when you're doing amigurumi for the first time, you may not typically do in the round, or you may not have projects that need stitch markers. So that would be something that you would either have to go buy or makeshift with another piece of yarn. I love the fact that they included the stitch markers. The overall kit, everything that was included, the hook was decent quality. Now, someone had commented on my unboxing video that to use your own hook, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the hook in detail later on in the review. So for the most part, I would give the hook a high marks because it was a lot better than your typical kit hook. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it later, so stay tuned. The instructions were very easy to understand. There was an option which I really enjoyed, that you didn't have to set through all of the video instructions. You could just download the pattern and do it as the pattern was written. There was a written pattern. As an experienced crocheter, I was very happy to see that I didn't have to set through the lessons. Now, if you were an inexperienced crocheter or did not know how to do some of the stitches, such as this bobble stitch for the feet on the back, that was very nice that they had that directly in the course. It was basically a course. You were basically taking a crocheting course. So let me get to my thoughts on creating Lizzie and the doing the little corgi here. Now, what I said earlier goes. I did not like this yarn. I have reasons why I didn't like it, and one of the reasons that I was not happy with it is I felt that I could not get a tight enough I cannot get consistently tight enough stitches on it. And that to me was, for amigurumi, you want good tight stitches. Now this is amigurumi yarn that I used from Joann's, and a small hook. I think it was a 2.75, and I got very defined, very nice stitches on it. So this is a 4mm hook, and a 4mm hook is usually what I use on amigurumi for worsted weight yarn. For some reason, this left a lot of gaps, and I'm not sure why. So I tried my clover hook that I really like in this, also a 4mm, and I still could not get the consistency of the hook of the stitches that I liked. That being said, I have I'm going to insert a video here of me when I first worked with the magic circle that's going to talk a little bit about that. So what I watched, they did not explain why there were 3 stitch markers. Also, as I have done this, because you're supposed to increase in each row or each hole, I am not liking the holes in this. You can see it has a lot of holes. So I'm going to take it out and start it again with my own way, because it did not, to me, it doesn't look tight enough. So I am going to take this completely apart and start over, because it just seemed very loose. So it's either the yarn texture or it's their starting texture, or their starting how they did it. So let's see what happens. Yeah, my magic ring is much tighter than that starting one. Row 2, and then get started there and go back around and see what I think of the magic ring that I started. Okay, so I'm coming around for row 1 with my magic ring, and as you can see, that is much tighter than their starting magic ring. Now, I don't know if that was because the way they started it, they wanted it to be easy for you to see the holes, the stitches that you need to get into, or if they just had that my tension is a little bit stronger or harder than theirs. So that's the first thing. I wasn't in love with that, the way that the first loop was set up. Now I'm saying I don't hate this this hook. Uh, I don't hate this hook for a kit hook. It is far superior to any kit hook I've ever used. Okay, so the magic circle, like I said, I didn't care for it. And then when I was doing my decreases on the tummy, that's when I had the most notable. I could not hide the decreases very well. The increases didn't have as much trouble. I do want to say I love the rump. The rump was awesome. So, the decreases didn't seem to, I was able to do the invisible increases very well, but the invisible decreases just didn't seem to work like they normally should, and I'm not sure why, other than the consistency of the yarn. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the yarn now. The hook, I tried, like I said, I tried it with the clover hook that I love, the clover ergonomic hook that's gold, and I absolutely love that, and it did not make a difference. I tried this hook with some worsted weight yarn here, and the stitch definition is absolutely fine. It looks like any other 4mm hook that I would have made with this with this. So it's good tight stitches. You can't see my increases or my decreases, and that is absolutely fine. So that got me thinking, perhaps it's the size. So I got a 3.5mm hook with the same Woobles yarn, and this was the leftover yarn. This is why she did not have the white on her ears, because I was using the white to do this again, to do this. I got much better stitch definition with the smaller hook. So this yarn, even though it's designed to be a 4mm, the tightness of the stitches, for me at least, needed to be a little bit smaller. I have seen these on some other sites and some pictures of other people who've done Woobles, and you can see almost the holes in it, that the stitches aren't tight. I chalk that up to being inexperienced people, and maybe they just didn't have their tension correct. But working with it, I saw that getting the tension correct on this yarn for me was somewhat difficult. Now, I have seen both good and bad reviews about this yarn. Some people call it shoestring yarn, and I was looking at it, and it does look like a shoestring without like the extra bulk to it. But as I was working with it, and especially this tan, I was working with it, to me, what I thought it felt like and looked like was rolled up pantyhose. And it had almost that same stretch to it. I read a little bit about this yarn, this Easy Peasy yarn. It's supposed to be beginner friendly so that you can see the stitches. So you're not searching for where to stick your needle or your hook in. And so that was what I was thinking. Well, then maybe that's why the gaps don't close up as well. That perhaps is the reason. But with the smaller hook, I was able to get much better stitch definition. The same colors. I was going to make my own corgi with this yarn. I was going to see how what the fuss was about this yarn. It is 75% cotton and 25% nylon. The nylon is definitely noticeable. As I said, to me, it felt like pantyhose. And it does say that it's recommended a 5mm hook. Now, typically when you do amigurumi, you do smaller than what the yarn actually recommends. So the 4 makes sense, but I could not get the 4 to look right for me. I don't know. I don't know if I was pulling it, since it is so stretchy, that I was pulling it too tightly. I don't know if it just was going to take a minute or two it was going to take some time to get used to it. But it was ironic for me that it's a beginner friendly yarn and I struggled with it. So I'm not sure. I do have plans to make another type of corgi from another pattern with this yarn. I also have black, which I was thinking about making a tricolored corgi, since Roland's a tricolored corgi, and or another critter with this. Okay, I'm going to see if this is even a yarn I want to use at this point, because I honestly, like I said, did not like it. The feel of it is okay. You can really tell the nylon is in it, and the cotton, because it's almost like t-shirt. I would even call it t-shirt yarn. You could almost call it t-shirt yarn. I'm not sure I like it. Okay, so as for the hook, this is one from Hobby Lobby. This is their ergonomic. I really like these. They're flat. They're more flat, and they're rubber, and they've got it's really a good hook. I use a lot of these, and I also use the clover. So I do like a metal hook. That is one thing I will give them good a plus, a thumbs up for having a metal hook. Because so many of these beginner friendly kits, or these beginner kits, have cheap plastic hooks that bend. This is, you're not going to bend it. It's got it's branded. It's got somewhat of a good place for your thumb. It's good. It's got a good hand feel. It's a decent hook. I'm not gonna say it's the best hook out there, because I know it did have some issues. And I know one of the things that the Easy Peasy yarn is how it's designed is it doesn't split like worsted yarn does. Your typical worsted weight yarn, and especially cotton yarn, tend to split, and you can get it caught. And working with some of those horrible kit yarns over the years, I have seen that happen, where I've had it happen to me. You just split the yarn to death, and it's a nightmare. So that Easy Peasy yarn does have that advantage. The hook also is not, it's a little sharp here, but not like some of the plastic ones that will catch the yarn, will get caught on that little hook right there and rip it. So it's a decent hook, and I would use this if I had a project that called for 4mm and I didn't have access to my good my good hook, I would definitely still use this. This will go into my bag, and I will definitely be using this on other projects. And I did use it. So I know that it's not the hook. The overall problem for me was not the hook. It was the yarn. So by and large, pattern was well written. The instructions were easy to follow. The videos were very helpful if you did not know how to do something. The materials that you needed, detailed instructions on how to do some of the stitches, and for the pattern, having the pattern for the money, it is still a little on the pricier side. This one was $40. um I would probably, unless I really, really wanted it, like I really wanted this corgi, and in the past I've been kind of tempted by the Harry Potter items. I was kind of tempted by the Pac-Man items, but by and large, the price might still make you hesitate, but I think it's right on the cusp of being worth the money. Because of everything that you get in it. If you could find them like at Walmart, I think they're a little bit cheaper. When Joann's was going out of business, I was fortunate enough to get a couple of them at on sale or on the discount. So if you can get a discount or something from the company or something like that, you may want to buy them. But I don't know if I would buy them at full price unless I was, yeah, I just don't think I would buy them at full price. Um, I mean, that's my honest opinion. The cost is prohibitive, I think, for at least for me, it is. I think the people that they're trying to reach with these kits are people who are very interested in amigurumi and may not have the equipment or the they just want to try it out. Now, for that, I think the price is fine because you're going to be spending at least that amount of money in a pattern, in yarn, in a hook, stuffing, and all the things that are involved in making one item. You're gonna buy more than you need, so that it's nice to have just the amount that you need to make a character. So in that sense, I think the price is fine. But if you are like me and you have stuffing and you have hooks and you have yarn and you have patterns that you have either trusted people that you get patterns from, or you have books, it may not be as cost effective. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find one or two items in this, and I'm going to make it without the easy peasy yarn, or if I can find something that might use the black, I might do it. But and Hobby Lobby is now selling beginner friendly yarn that is very much like this yarn. I don't know that I would go buy it for me because I don't like it. And I don't know that. And Michael's also has the loops and threads also has it. So if you were wanting to work something out of this book, you could go get that. But my next project is to, or the next part of this series is to work this with different yarns. Thanks for watching, and I hope you stick around to see more Woobles.